Welcome to the Millionaire Mastermind. I'm the host and creator, Adrienne Hill, and I help business owners like you to build the skills, structure, and systems you need to scale multi-million-dollar businesses and brands. Now, I brought together over a dozen experts who are going to share their millionaire strategies with you so you can maximize leads, streamline your teams, and increase your revenue without sacrificing the lifestyle goals that you have. Now, these power-packed sessions include an entire library of free digital products so that you can get better results even faster. So let's dive in. Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another powerful mastermind session. Today, we are here with Carol Hampshire, and she is a seasoned personal brand designer and brand strategist, boasting over 30 years of experience in her field. Now, what really sets her apart is her remarkable ability to intuitively grasp her client's essence and seamlessly translate it into a standout personal brand that connects, captivates, and converts, leading to effortless sales and quantum business growth. And today she's going to be talking to us about building a $1 million personal brand, which if you want to be in the Millionaire Club, this is a must-have. This is non-negotiable. So of course we had to have her on our stage. So welcome, Carol. I'm so excited to dig into this topic with you.
Adrienne, thank you so much for that extremely warm welcome. I am so excited to chat about this, and let's dive straight in.
Let's dive in, yes. And I know the audience is going to be so excited about this, especially because we've been seeing some really interesting shifts in the market in the last few years. But before we jump in, I know we're super excited to jump in, but there may be some people in the audience who are meeting you for the very first time, and they haven't necessarily heard about your story. So can you tell us just a little bit about how it is that you became a branding expert in the online world?
It took a while. I started, as you introduced me, about 30 years ago. I started my own business. I was working corporate for a couple of years, and I think a lot of people can relate to this. I hated it. I just hated it. I knew that there was something else for me. I didn't have anything to go on. In other words, in those days, there weren't online courses. No one was, I had no role models. I just had an absolute drive. And I look back at that young 20-something innocent girl I was. And Adrienne, the journey was just get on my own. I had one client. My brand story is I had one client, zero income, one client, and I built on that. I just built up slowly. And then I was doing all kinds of things like business cards and letterheads. Like back in the day, it was a big thing to have a letterhead because we didn't have websites in those days. I'm a single mom. I didn't have any income from my son's father, and I was determined to give him the life that I thought he deserved. So I kind of knuckled down and I built my business from that love of my son and love of actually helping other women experience that financial freedom that I had. That is a gift that I think if we can give that to ourselves, it is the best gift that we can. And then how I do that obviously is through branding. My methodology over the years has been fine-tuned. And, I can look at someone, my clients now, and I immediately know what lights them up, what their essence is, and what their gift is to the world. And that's the most important thing. And with that element, then I start designing. And I think a lot of people don't do that. They say, okay, let's just do a Pinterest board and let's start designing. And I don't. I spend quite a bit of time with a client really getting into who they are, what their purpose is, what are their drives, what are their quirks. I want to know. So that from that place, I bring a personal brand that is so unique and individual that it can't not be high vibe and have the frequency that they want. It can't not, because we put so much love and care and dedication to bringing this beautiful brand alive.
Yeah, well, and I love that, there's a whole bunch of us on the speaker panel who were all recovering previous from corporate. So we have that in common, which is so interesting. I mean, it's very common. A lot of us, and maybe even some of you watching, you're building a business because you're wanting to escape whatever your current job is or current career. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of us have that in common, right? But I love that over the years, you've been brand building before the internet was even a thing.
Yeah.
And now long after, when we're in the world of so many different online platforms where people can find you and that it's more than just about what your brand looks like. It's the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
And what
it's
makes
the energetics. It's the energetics of who you are, the vibration.
I'm curious. I mean, it's one thing to build a brand that's recognizable. People know you when they see it. It's another thing to build $1 million brand. So what would you say is the key distinction between a standard brand and $1 million brand? What really stands out as the differentiating factor for you?
It's a great question. And I think there's several answers to that. And I have brought several of my clients, I mean, quite a few of them, quite a lot actually, into from zero income or just starting out, and they've achieved that $1 million brand and multi-million, some are 7 figures, 8 figures. And how I have the blessings that I've seen them grow from the first conversation that I had with them to where they are now. And I'm going to zone in to what makes them different. And then we can talk about the brand, but it starts with that individual person. They started acting as if they are $1 million brand already. They were making decisions. They were creating a strategy. They were thinking big. And I often have, like I said, conversations with my clients quite a lot before we actually start designing. And one of the main things that I say to people is you're thinking too small. You're thinking too small. You need to think when you're doing a rebrand, don't think about the next step. You need to think about the next floor, right? Mm-hmm. The big one. And that is the key, Adrian. When people are coming to me with this big vision, they are big thinkers. And like I said, they're making the decisions. That is the key ingredient. The colors, the branding, the messaging, the strategy, that all will fall into place. That alignment will fall into place. That connection with their audience will fall into place. But what comes is that heart. It really is very heart-centered. They are tenacious. They are incredible human beings. And they are just like you and me. Single moms living overseas, all over the place. They're travelers. There's not one determination in factor. They have the same ingredients. They act as if they are millionaires already. And it comes into being.
Yeah, I love that advice. And I've heard that different times in different ways, but I love the way you phrased it, where you said, you have to become the millionaire before you can become the millionaire. You're making decisions as if you're already there. You're selecting strategies as if you're already there. You're designing the brand as if you're already there. And I love what you said. It's not about taking the next step. It's about the next floor.
Totally.
That hits different.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because I always do that in my business as well. Is like any kind of decision that comes up, I think, okay, what's the most efficient and proper way to solve this decision now? But how would I solve it if my company was 10 times bigger? And I think about it from both perspectives, right? And the answers are always different.
And this is another thing. You have to know your alignment. You've got to be in alignment with what your purpose is. I like to call it the vision beyond the vision. You might have a vision of a financial goal, right? And I think all people have that. But there's something beyond that. So for example, I can talk for myself, is that I have a business where I can travel at the drop of the hat. I can move around, I can go everywhere. I have that ability. I live on the water. I'm a beach kind of girl. And everywhere that I go, I can fulfill my soul's dream. So I have the financial security, but I also have the means to live in joy and have that freedom. And that is my vision beyond the vision. Mm-hmm. And I want other people to have that freedom as well. It's a freedom lifestyle. And I think that's what we're really wanting to have. And that's a big thing for me. I really want to help other women just believe that they can do this.
If you truly believe that there's plenty for everyone, there's plenty of money, there's plenty of clients, there's plenty of opportunity for everyone, and you just trust that the right people will come to you.
Yes.
Your brand is basically the vehicle that invites people in, correct?
It does. Yeah. And so when you're talking about $1 million brand, that's the first step. Mm-hmm. We talk about connect, captivate, and convert. That is connecting to your big dreams and what it is that you want. The next thing is really getting clear into looking at your own brand. What sets you on fire in terms of the colors that you want, the vibe that you want? So many people are looking to other brands, right, that are 8-figure brands, and they just want to copy them or use some of the languaging or some of the style of the photographs. And all of the clients that I have helped to get to $1 million brands have all never said anything like that. They all have been very clear that this is their essence. They know what they want, and each one is so individual. In other words, they've really believed in themselves that this message, that these colors, that this vibration of their brand is totally aligned to themselves.
And not only like who you are, what's important to you, what you're drawn to, what you're attracted to. It's almost like building a Pinterest board around, like, if you looked not just to the next step, but the next floor, and you imagined in vivid detail what that next floor looks like. What does that lifestyle feel like? What does your workday look like? What do your clients look like? And then find pictures, inspiration, anything that kind of represents that feeling that you have of what that next floor looks like.
It does. And that is the stage where I ask my clients, tell me about your keywords. What are your values? What do you want this brand to represent? Because I have about 5 or 6 keywords that I ask them to give me, and we refine that. And each of my clients has a specific combination of words that seems to just, it's like a mystery box. You just click these words and this beautiful brand comes out. From that, then we obviously go into the brand vision board. On that basis, that's the start of your brand strategy. That's the start of your positioning. That's the start of your messaging. That's the start of your brand color palette and fonts. But it all starts and stems from there. So don't skip that part. It's really so valuable.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And so, I mean, and it's funny, you have to be clear on what you want before you can create what you want. But
I would say it's 80% the feminine. Yes, we will do the brand strategy and the more masculine. How are we going to get you visible? How are we going to set you apart? What are the tasks? But this first part is about the feminine.
Even for the male entrepreneurs, should they be going through the same? Yeah.
I have probably about 10% of my clients are men, and I do take that through that process. And it's a joy. It's an absolute joy to experience that.
So we're not thinking about the next step. We're thinking about the next floor. We're getting really clear on what we want. We're creating visuals in our mind. We even create a visual brand board to kind of represent everything that we're feeling drawn to, attracted to, aligned with.
That's correct. Yes.
Now, I'm also really interested to dig into, I know, especially when someone's in business for a long time, spanning multiple years, even decades, a lot of times they're reinventing themselves. They're refreshing their brand. It has changes just because as an individual, they're changing, of course. They're learning, they're growing. And a lot of times their brand changes with them. Do you also see that? And do you see that happening at a certain cadence? Or like, what have you observed in that space of reinvention?
I love that question. I love it because I've done rebrands for clients over the years. So as they're starting out, I do see the zero brand, like just starting out and they need a brand. And they'll come back to me 2 or 3 or maybe 4 years later and they're ready for that next step. What happens here is that I've noticed as there's a up level in consciousness and taking away of all of their limiting beliefs, the brand will follow exactly the same suit as that. There will be less clutter in the brand. They will be taking away a lot of their offers. They are going deep, not wide. There is refinement. There is more about the messaging. And I definitely shift my strategy from someone who is in business for, say, under 5 years to someone who's been in business 30 years plus or much longer. The strategy is very different. And like I said, they go deep. They have 1 or 2 really intense containers. And that is when you get that big shift in finances as well. We're talking about $1 million brand, and that's when it happens. Probably around the 2nd or 3rd rebrand, that's when they kind of niche down And they get very clear in their niche and who they are dealing with and what their client is wanting. So you'll start out, and I think you might have, and I did, we start out big, and the whole of social media is our clients, and then we kind of refine. Less cluttered, more simple, more clean, more refined. And that's the path to that $1 million. It's going deep, not wide.
Yeah. Well, and I suspect that, there's part of it of like, as the person evolves, and when you think about it, the longer you're in business, the more clients you work with, the more you get clear on like, okay, like working with this client was okay, but they weren't my favorite. These are my ideal clients. These are my perfect, and you get more and more zeroed in on your perfect client, which makes sense. There'd be less clutter, because you're getting more and more clear. But I think a lot of times you almost have to be in action. You have to be in activity. You have to be learning and growing to get that clarity, because it doesn't just show up on day one, right? It comes with experience a lot of times.
It comes with experience. It comes with time. It comes with knocking your head and perhaps doing things that aren't really aligned to you. And you will know, the listeners that are watching this, they will know when it's time to rebrand. They feel it in their gut, and there's that misalignment comes in. They feel that they have outgrown their brand. So those are the kinds of things that I get spoken to, like people tell me quite a lot. I've outgrown my brand. It doesn't feel good. I'm embarrassed to share my website with somebody. And because of that, all of a sudden they start getting smaller and they stop posting as much. They stop getting visible and putting themselves out there. And when that happens, please go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's like your intuition is begging you to not take the next step, but go to the next floor. Like it's time to level up, basically.
It's kind of like when an animal sheds their skin. It really is like that. It's the same animal, just better, more refined, more clear. And this is when I'm talking about the graphics and the design, but essence-wise, there's a clearer essence in that as well. There's a deeper connection to their purpose. And they start sharing their purpose. If you're a brand that is relatively new, you'll be sharing about, this is my offer. Come and join my thing. This is the benefits you'll get. These are the benefits my clients got. And they wonder, why is no one actually selling or buying? And they're doing all the things. We've all been there. I've been there as well. And you're like, I'm doing the things, it should be working, what's going wrong, my brand, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize this is when that next level comes in, about sharing your bigger purpose, like really connect to what your clients want. Share your brand story. Tell me about you, because you are the best form of advertisement in your brand. So if you're a financial abundance or manifesting coach, show me what you've manifested. That's going to be much more tangible to me than reading long posts or signing up to your masterclass. Show me. And people are intuitive. Women are so intuitive. We know if someone is out of alignment. We know if they're out of integrity. And if I had to sum up with one word, as you grow in business, become more in integrity with yourself. In other words, be more of who you are, your true essence. And that's, people will pick up and they were like, I have to work with her. I have to work with her because I feel alignment. I don't want anybody else. If you meet your partner for the first time and you're on a date, you kind of have a feeling of, it just feels good. It feels good, right?
Right. Like there's you can feel that chemistry. You're like, I like being around this person. I can just tell, Yeah.
And I think the people who want $1 million brand, they've forgotten about the $1 million, and they're all about the helping. Like that's the irony of it. They'll suddenly wake up and, gosh, I didn't realize. It's in my vision board, but it stops when you'll get the thing when it stops becoming about the thing.
Right. When it just becomes about like regardless of what happens, I just want to fully immerse myself in this state of being.
Yes.
In this lifestyle for these reasons, for these purposes, for these deeper things going on underneath. And as soon as you let go of the results and you just shift into the state of being, the results come.
Exactly. And I've seen it time and time again.
So anyone more experienced, I'm sure, is watching this and nodding their head of like, yep, that's exactly what I went through, or exactly what I'm going through, right? So I just want to encourage those of you who are watching who are maybe a little bit newer in business, you're not at the $1 million mark yet. Like just so, and I think it's helpful that Carol pointed this out, that oftentimes it's somewhere between your second and third rebrand or revision where you fully embrace that state of being. Because you've been trusting the process and being in that state of being, immersing yourself in it enough for it to almost like it truly like soaks in or sinks into the deepest levels, right? Yeah.
And having said that as well, there are new coaches coming out and being born that are in their early 20s that just have it, and they are able to get out there, get visible, create something that is $1 million brand already. So
yeah, I've seen some rapid success stories.
And I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Like it doesn't have to take 2 or 3 revisions. Sometimes people just, they're fully in it already.
Yeah. You can, it does happen. It does happen. So I don't want to, I've seen both.
Yeah.
But I do that just a new vibe of people are coming into this world, and it's just so delightful to see. So I'm also learning at a rapid rate. I always want to see what other people are doing and what, people have got some innovative ideas, and that's what I love seeing, is that innovation. So talking about $1 million brand, what is it? Do the things that people aren't doing.
Yeah. When everyone else is zigging, you zag.
Do something that just feels different and unique and fun and exciting for yourself.
As long as it feels in alignment with you and your energy, do it. Even if it's unconventional, like give it a try. There's no rules, right?
No rules at all. Absolutely no rules.
So, I mean, we've unpacked a lot here, and this is really good. This is the higher level stuff that people need to hear. They need to be prepared for or aligned with, just ready, open to accept.
And that's really the gift of $1 million brand, maybe, but what about $1 billion ripple effect in the world? Or maybe being able to touch millions of people.
Those of you watching, if you think about what would my dream lifestyle look like? And you're truly living that dream lifestyle. Maybe it's where you're living. Maybe it's your healthy habits that you have.
$1 billion wealth lifestyle could mean I have money in the bank. I can retire comfortably. I am healthy. I'm joyful. I'm doing the things that I want to do.
At this point, I'm sure the audience is hungry to get started in building their $1 million brand. And I know you have a gift that can help them to do exactly that. Do you want to tell us about it?
I have something called the Brand Clarity Workbook, which is a great start to start asking yourself the questions you need to ask to really get clear on your brand. Download it and work through it as if you are starting your brand with fresh new eyes, completely fresh. Like almost evoke the woman who is living that lifestyle that you want and get her to rewrite this brand strategy for you. It's tips on how to get to those stages, and that is a great foundation. It's a great foundation to get the ball rolling and get that momentum going again.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And so whether you're brand new and creating your brand for the first time, or whether you're halfway through the steps of reinvention and you're pivoting and redesigning, embody that version of yourself that's already there, living your ideal lifestyle, and ask them to help you fill this out. So somewhere very near this video will be a bright yellow button that says grab the free gift here. Grab that gift now. That can help you to get a start no matter what your experience level is. It might be a time to refresh the brand and up level it to that $1 million status level. Now,
I agree. And fall in love with your brand. Like, this is the thing, fall in love with it. And really pour your heart and soul in it. It's not just one of the things you need to tick off on your business list of things to do. It is who you are.
Yeah. And be excited to show it off and let it represent who you are, your state of being. It's that representation of your energy when you are not actually in the room. right?
in the room. Totally.
I love that. Now, you also have something special for our VIP ticket holders. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes, I have something that I've created to help you write your website copy. Because this is the thing that keeps people stuck. And it's definitely a follow-on from that brand strategy workbook. It's the next phase. Getting in there and kind of tweaking things around a bit. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's the great thing about a rebrand. You might have to start from the inside out, but you don't have to scrap everything. You can just fine-tune it, right? And make it sound like a symphony, absolutely beautiful. And that's what that book is about, that workbook would be about.
Oh, I love that. So you guys, if you are a VIP ticket holder, make sure that you carve out some time to just sit down and sit with that for a minute and grab that VIP gift and make use of that to really refresh your website to make sure that it's truly exemplifying who you are. And if you're not a VIP ticket holder yet, what are you doing? Grab that VIP ticket. It's kind of a no-brainer. But also, we will be having a mastermind session later. If Carol's able to join us, she will. She'll get all of your questions answered. And if you are a VIP ticket holder, you get to be in the Zoom room with us and you get to meet Carol behind the scenes. So how fun would that be? You guys have to experience her energy. It's just so lovely being near her, around her. Like, you have to experience this, you guys. So I invite you to take advantage of that. And thank you again, Carol, for being with us. I really enjoyed our discussion. And just like I said, just being around your energy is lovely. I feel like I'm just going to feel serene all day now.
That is such a wonderful thing to say. I had an absolutely wonderful time. And I hope that all the viewers have got so much benefit out of that. So go and just build your brand from the inside out. And I know that every single one of you is capable of building anything that you dream. Like, there's no limitations. You can create anything that you want.
Awesome. So you guys, we're rooting for you. Go out there and nail it. Bring that brand to life. And we'll see you in the next session. Bye for now.